Great. So should I go ahead and kick things off?
Please.
Great. Well, aloha, everyone. Welcome to the 40th Annual Hawaii International Film Festival presented by Halekulani. I'd like to start by acknowledging Hawaii as an indigenous space whose original people are identified today as Native Hawaiians. And we'd also like to extend our thanks to the Japanese Cultural Center of Hawaii for partnering with us on this program. My name is Sue Ding, and I'm the programmer for the HIF XR Showcase. So thank you for joining us today for this program. Building History 3.0 is a project that facilitates learning and conversation about the World War II incarceration of Japanese Americans through interactive activities, video games, short films, and other online resources. So I will throw things over to Janet Chen, the project producer, who will tell us more about the project and introduce the rest of the team. Thanks, Janet.
Thank you, Sue. So yes, I'm Janet Chen. I'm the producer of this project. I also work in ethnic communications at UCLA, it's Asian American Studies. And so before we start though, and I wanted to just let you guys know a few housekeeping things. So we are recording, as I mentioned. And then at the end of each section, we'll do questions. So if you have questions, please wait till the end of the section and we will call on everyone. And please feel free to ask us anything about the project. You can also type your questions in the chat, or you can just wave your virtual hand and we will feel free to ask us also. And I wanted to introduce you to the director of our program, Renee Tajima Pena, who is here with her mom, Marie.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for Building History 3.0. As Janet said, I'm Renee. I'm a professor at UCLA in Asian American Studies. And actually, I had a film at the Hawaii Film Festival about 30 years ago, Who Killed Vincent Chin? So it's great to be back. And my mom is here, Marie. Can you see her? I took off the virtual, just say hi, Mom. That's why I'm wearing my mask. And she'll be answering questions later. She was incarcerated at the Heart Mountain concentration camp during World War II, and she has a lot to say about her experience there. Our web designer, Charity Kapili Ellis, is here.
Hi.
Our coordinator, Melody Chen.
Hello.
And Melody will be monitoring the chat box. So you've already met our project producer, Janet, and now meet our education tech specialist and teacher, Kim Bathker. And Janet and Kim will be presenting most of today's workshop. So Building History 3.0 is youth-powered. It started when my son, Gabe, visited Heart Mountain with my mom and my dad and my Uncle Bill. And he learned about the incarceration at that time, and he was inspired by my mom, Marie, to learn more about how to preserve history. And then he had this idea that he can recreate the Heart Mountain camp on Minecraft, because he really wanted to play Minecraft at that time as well. And he thought that would be a great way of showing kids their history, a little more exciting than the usual lectures, like the lectures I give at UCLA. So we're going to watch a short documentary, Gabriel's Heart Mountain, that Gabe and I made about the origins of the project. And you'll again meet my mom in the film and meet Gabe in his younger years. The film is a part of our curriculum and can be accessed for free, as everything on our website is free, www.buildinghistoryproject.com. And I would ask that you pay attention, because later on we'll be playing a game based on the film. So let's go to the videotape, Gabriel's Heart Mountain.
I'm Gabriel Tajima Pena. I went to Heart Mountain, Wyoming. I went with my grandparents, Kelvin and Marie Tajima, my uncle Bill Ujier, both my parents, Armando Pena and Renee Tajima. My grandmother was about 13 and my uncle Bill was 12 when they first got to the camps. By the time they got out, they were both 16 and 17.
See, there's the interpreters center right there to the left.
When I got to Wyoming, the first thing I saw was desert. It was desolate desert.
Thank you for coming. This is called a pilgrimage banquet, a pilgrimage reunion. How many of you know an internee here? Raise your hands.
The program was interesting, but after a while, there were a lot of speakers, and I can't really sit still for that long.
Most privileged.
I did number one. Let's see.
Here, try pressing it again.
And while I was there, I remember a lot of my friends had told me about a platform building game called Minecraft. I just had this ingenious plan to create the camp itself within the video game. My mother had refused to buy me the game, and she's against video games as a whole. And then when I came up with this idea, she got extremely excited and immediately bought me the game. You can build anything from a block of stone to the White House. It really took just a couple days before I actually began building the camp, because I couldn't help myself. I just kept blowing things up for several days.
The barrack is ready for its close-up.
I was talking to
I needed a lot of help knowing what the camp itself looked like. They took me around part of the camp and showed me where the site of the swimming hole, the barracks used to be. When I first told my grandmother about this project, she was very excited, although she did not know what Minecraft was. She wanted to help as much as she could.
Look, I found
My grandmother told me what camp life was like, gave me notes on the inside of the barracks, and my Uncle Bill had helped me with telling me what the latrines looked like. I'd met this guy named Randall Fujimoto. He liked combining video games with learning history. So I showed him my project, and he decided to do a workshop for kids to teach them about the Manzanar camp by building it in Minecraft. He had invited me to help co-teach his class for several weeks. Okay, now follow the directions. We had about 15 kids on computers in Gardena at the Japanese Cultural Institute, the JCI.
This is the roller coaster thing that we saw.
The primary amount of the research was done online through websites and through the Manzanar history website itself. But we also did have a former internee come in, and he answered a lot of questions.
Okay, everybody, eyes up here, and
hi, everyone.
This is Bob Nakamura. You know that you lived in Manzanar before.
The kids were really interested in asking about what the latrines were like.
Were the bathrooms like small?
The bathrooms didn't even have partitions, right? So you could hold hands with the person sitting next to you. So that was the big change for a lot of people.
We had a big day coming up. Nobody had really completed their projects. They needed to present it to their parents and people who came from outside. They just rallied up and finished. Look at dirt.
Okay, so let's proceed with our presentations. Go ahead, one by one, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'm Evan. I'm Maurice. I'm Andrew. I'm Joshua. Each of the barracks had 3 rooms inside, and there were like 4 beds in each room. These were the mess halls. They usually ate soup a lot, and breakfast was usually bread and meat. The bathrooms, they didn't have any partitions that you could hold hands while going. The watchtower
Anybody who went too close to the gate would be shot, but once somebody did and the riot started, they stopped doing that. And yeah.
I think they learned a lot about the camps, the structure of the camp, and why and how it was built. And I think they did learn a lot about the history of Japanese Americans during World War II. It was really cool to see my grandmother happy like that, and it's warmed my heart to see her so into the project.
What are you doing, Gabe?
Quite frankly, I don't know.
Hi, everyone. Thanks again.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, back to Kim, our educational tech specialist.
Thanks, Renee. We've already introduced our team, and we'd love to get a better sense for who's joining us today. So can you either wave at the screen, or if you don't have your camera on, maybe use the chat box to let us know. Have you ever watched a YouTube video before? Wave at your screen if you've ever watched a YouTube video before. Okay. One or two of us. All right. What about, have you ever been in a Zoom meeting before today? A Zoom meeting. Okay, I think a few of us have been in Zoom meetings. Great. What about Minecraft? Has anyone here ever played Minecraft before? A couple of us? All right. Oh, excellent. Good, good. So just to make sure that everyone knows how to use the chat box, can you please open up your chat box and let us know how you've learned about the Japanese American incarceration camps before? Did you learn about them in school? Was it from a friend or from family, maybe from a book? Can you put that in the chat box?
It looks like we have a couple people from their friends. They found out about the internment experience, their grandparents briefly in school, and a couple of people that have never learned about it before. Also from visiting the Japanese American Museum and from a book.
Great, thank you, Charity. All right, so today we're going to show you just a few more ways that you can learn about the incarceration camps. So from the time when Gabe first came up with the idea to build a camp in Minecraft, Building History 3.0 has grown a lot. Everything that we've created for this project is available for free on our website. And it's now an online collection of interactive activities that teach kids about the World War II Japanese American incarceration camps. Everything there has been designed for kids. This includes our short documentaries, our classroom tools, and game-based learning activities in Minecraft. From our website, kids, teachers, and parents and families can learn about what daily life was like for the people who were incarcerated at the camps and why their stories are relevant today. There's so many resources on our website, and so during a time when a lot of kids are needing to learn from home, we reorganized our website to help families and teachers facilitate that. We call this part of the website BH 3.0 at home. We're going to take a few minutes now to show you our website and highlight some of our tools and activities. You'll see the link in the chat box so that you can easily copy and paste it into your web browser. And you can see that it's listed here as well, buildinghistoryproject.com. When you first visit our website, the first link on the menu bar is for BH 3.0 at home. On this page, you'll find a bit more explanation of the project and also links to all of our learning at home resources, which include videos, games, activities, and Minecraft downloads. As a reminder, if you do have any questions at any time during the session, please feel free to add those to the chat box. So at this point, we'll pause for just a moment. Charity, do we have any questions coming in so far?
Not at the moment, Kim. We're good to proceed.
Right. Okay, great, thank you. We'll check back in a bit. Janet, back to you.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about BH 3.0 at home for a little bit more. So our first set of activities is our video collection. So this is a series of 6 short documentaries, just like the one that you just saw. Gabriel's Heart Mountain is part of that. And each one is between 5 to 10 minutes and produced especially for kids and students. by professional filmmakers, myself and Renee and our production team. So each video tells a story of someone has been affected by the camps, including survivors. So when we screen the videos at our in-person workshops before we started the virtual workshops, it's been really great to see families, kids, their parents, grandparents all watch together. And the feedback has always been really positive. So we've developed some discussion guide worksheets and online games to accompany the videos. So with Gabriel's Heart Mountain, for example, if you go to the video page and you scroll down, you'll find the discussion guide worksheet there. The discussion guides for each video tends to be about 10 questions of increasing degrees of depth, which asks the kids to recall the content of the video and also to link it to its historical context and reflect on them and its meaning to them and also in our current world. So the questions can be used by families at home to prompt conversations, or if you're a teacher and you're thinking about assigning the discussion guides, they're also available to download as PDFs and also as editable Google Docs. So you can actually remove or you can customize the worksheets however you like. And then just to note, all of our historical content has been reviewed by our historical consultants from UCLA, our faculty, and also one of our partners, Densho, for accuracy. So in addition to the guides, each video also has their own game. So each game is different. So if we go back to, again, Gabriel's Heart Mountain, you'll find that the game is a story puzzle that's on there right now. So the Gabriel's Heart Mountain tells the story of the project. So we wanted to highlight the different key events in Gabe's journey to learn about his grandmother's experiences. So the kids are challenged to recall the details from the video and then fill in the blanks. So each correct answer unlocks a new clue. So it gives the kids one more way to connect to the content of the video. And keep in mind, so each video has a different set of questions and a different game. So you can actually sit down and watch 2 or 3 videos at a time and the kids won't get bored. So all of these interactive activities and discussion guides for the videos, they're on our website right now, and we have one more that we're working on. So if you'd like to know when that comes out, you can join our mailing list or you can follow us on social media and we'll let everyone know when we have our last discussion guide and game up. Okay, and then I think we did have a question. Charity, is there more than one?
Yes, we got a question from Mary. She wanted to know how do I know if I'm using the materials discussion guides correctly?
Kim, do you want to take that?
Sure. So the discussion guides are largely a collection of recall questions from the content that is on the website, so largely from the videos themselves, and then also some more critical thinking type questions. So a lot of the questions don't necessarily have right answers. They're more to prompt thought and critical thinking about the incarceration camp experience and the history behind them. So in that sense, I guess there's not really any wrong way to use the discussion guides. And they're also really customizable. So if there are questions that you don't feel comfortable, discussing, either with your own family or with a class, those don't necessarily have to be included in the discussion guide that you use. They're all customizable and editable.
That was the only question that I saw in the chat box, so we can proceed.
So let's take a look then at this story game. So we just watched Gabriel's Heart Mountain, and I hope you were paying close attention because we're going to try to answer some questions about it and complete this game together. So if you know the answer to one of these questions, you can feel free to unmute yourself and shout out the answer, or you can put your answer in the chat box. Charity, can you let us know if anyone uses that chat feature?
Will do.
All right, thank you. So our first question is, Gabriel went to Heart Mountain in this state. with his family to visit the incarceration camp where his grandmother was forced to live during World War II. Does anyone remember what state Heart Mountain was located in? I think it was a W state.
We have Wyoming in the chat box from Amber and Keely.
Let's see, does that work? Oh, it worked, awesome. All right, so Wyoming was the state, very good. All right, our next question here. Gabriel remembers that the first thing he saw at the camp was this. What was the first thing that he remembers seeing when he got to the camp?
Jessica, she says desert.
I think Jessica's right. Let's try that out. All right, you guys were watching very closely. That's great. All right, I think this one is a tricky one. Let's see. Gabriel and his family attend an event at a blank reunion. What was the name of the kind of reunion that they attended at Heart Mountain? This is a really tough one, so I think I'm going to start us out. I'm pretty sure it started with a P. Let's see, let's try to sound it out together. P, I'm thinking there might be an I and then an L.
Stephen says pilgrimage.
Stephen, let's see, pilgrimage. Nice. All right, thank you, Stephen. Okay. All right, and let's try one more. All right, Gabriel has an ingenious plan to rebuild the Heart Mountain incarceration camp in, and he needs a lot of help from his grandmother. Where does he rebuild the incarceration camp? Looks like Jessica knows. Jessica?
Sorry. She says Minecraft.
I think you're right. Yeah, Minecraft. Let's try that out. Outstanding. Congratulations, everyone. All right. So this is a good sample of the kind of game that you would get to play after watching a video on the website. But again, every video has its own game, and so each one is a little bit unique. All right, so let's switch gears a bit. Clearly, you're all experts at playing games because we just won that one. But one of the most interactive elements of this particular project is, of course, our Minecraft activities. And before I show you these activities, I'd like to point out that we also offer a beginner's guide to Minecraft on our website as a sort of informal orientation for parents, families, teachers, and even kids who might not be familiar with the game. We won't explore that webpage today, but if you'd like to refer to it in the future, you can find it on our website under the orange menu bar. You'll see Minecraft, and then from there you can select Introduction to Minecraft. But for now, let's explore the activities themselves. You can access these in a couple of different ways. So if you're on the BH 3.0 at home page, you can find links to the Minecraft activities there, or you can again use the Minecraft button that's on our menu bar in order to select each activity. We offer 2 free downloads for anyone who'd like to try these at home. In order to play these, you will need to have a paid version of Minecraft on your device. That can be either on your computer or a mobile device like a phone or a tablet. Currently, Minecraft costs $26.95 for the computer version or $6.99 for the mobile app. The first Minecraft download is called the Suitcase Activity, and we're going to play you a screencast which was created using Minecraft on a computer along with the Suitcase Activity download to give you a preview of this suitcase activity.
When you first open the Suitcase Activity, you'll find yourself in a modern-day bedroom. It's a simple room with a bookcase and a bed and a nightstand. In the corners of the room, you see 2 black suitcases and 2 brown chests. Walk over to the first chest and you'll find instructions telling you to pick any 6 items. Open the chest and you'll find a variety of items. They include things like a toothbrush, a pocket knife, a book, a camera, some food items, a first aid kit, and so forth. At this point, Select any 6 items from that chest and add them to the inventory. When you are choosing your items, think about what you would pack if you were faced with the same challenge that Japanese Americans faced during World War II. What would you pack if you were forced to leave home to go to an incarceration camp? Once you've loaded your inventory, walk over to suitcase number 1. Open the suitcase and load the items from your inventory into the suitcase. Once you're done, talk to a friend and see what they packed in their suitcase. Ask your teacher, or classmate, or family member. Compare your suitcase with theirs. Why did you make the decisions that you did? What would have been important to bring to camp? Of the items that you chose, is there anything that you think might not have been allowed at an incarceration camp? Why? What would you have needed to leave behind?
So those last questions in the screencast really highlight the purpose of the suitcase activity. What things would have been important to bring to camp and what things would have had to be left behind? What items wouldn't have been allowed? The suitcase activity in Minecraft puts kids in the shoes of Japanese American children who were forced to pack for the camps. In this activity, you probably noticed that there were 2 chests and 2 suitcases in that bedroom. This is to allow for multiple players to complete the activity at the same time. So if you have 2 players on separate devices but connected to the same server, they can actually complete the activity together and then discuss their packing strategies. This would be a good approach if if siblings playing together or kids playing together in a classroom, or even kids playing from remote locations at home. The second Minecraft download is Virtual Manzanar, and here is a preview of this virtual camp in Minecraft.
Virtual Manzanar is a recreation of the Manzanar incarceration camp in Minecraft. You can explore the camp and find historical objects as you go. Here we are walking down the road, and you see a recreation of a bus heading to the camp. Look around. The landscape is desolate. There isn't much to see. It captures the bleak surroundings that were experienced by Japanese Americans when they first arrived. There is a fence surrounding the camp, large guard towers, and an American flag, clearly visible as you enter. Right now, we're flying over the camp, and you can see the layout. The barracks are lined up in a grid, just as they were in Manzanar, with a row of buildings running down the middle. After learning the history, kids have the opportunity to build beds in the barracks for themselves, to see how tight the living spaces really were. From our previous workshops, here are some examples of what kids have built after learning the history. The kids' recreations show parts of the camps that were originally built by the Japanese Americans who were incarcerated there. Here, you see a baseball diamond. Here is a garden, which kids built after learning that incarcerees had to grow their own fresh food. Here is a mess hall, with the tables set up very close together. This shows how crowded camp life was. These are a few examples of how students have demonstrated their learning about the Japanese American incarceration experience by building in Minecraft.
We've had a lot of success with kids exploring and building in Virtual Manzanar. Kids who have spent time learning about the camps, watching our films, and hearing from survivors have demonstrated what they've learned by what they've built in Minecraft. It's been a very powerful tool for creating empathy around the incarceration camp experience. Just like the suitcase activity, the virtual Mansonar can be played in multiplayer mode. And so if you have siblings playing together or kids working in groups in a school, they can collaborate and work as a team while they learn, explore, and build in their camps. If you're playing from home, then as you explore the camp, you can check out our scavenger hunt activity. This highlights some of the historic components that you'll find in the virtual camp, and it challenges kids to find them as they explore virtual Mansonar. We've also made some suggestions here about additional items that kids could build in Minecraft to add to the camps. So I think we'll take a minute here to pause for any questions. Charity, do you have any more come in? Okay, all right. In that case, Janet, let's go back to you. We'll look at some additional classroom resources.
Okay, thanks, Kim. So the last resources that we want to point out on the website are designed for classroom use, but they can also be really helpful for learning at home too. So on the orange menu bar on top, you see a button for learning resources. So our first learning resource is our timeline. So the graphic timeline was created specifically for the website and written for a younger audience. So it includes lots of images, and you'll see that it begins in 1885, so long before World War II. This is in order to contextualize the events surrounding the incarceration of Japanese Americans so that kids can understand that this is not a story that began with the bombing of Pearl Harbor, but it's a consequence of a history of systemic racism that really began with anti-immigration legislation decades earlier. So our second learning resource that you'll find on the website is the incarceration camps map. So this was also created for the project, and the map that you'll see includes names and locations of the 10 incarceration camps that Japanese Americans were forced to stay at during World War II. And then under the heading additional resources, we have a couple of our partners there, including Densho Japanese American National Museum, which is in Los Angeles, and the Smithsonian National Museum of American History. So there you'll find links to the different resources and activities that we recommend through them. And then you'll also find a link to the Untold Story Project, which is launched by the Japanese Cultural Center of Hawaii to preserve the history of internment in Hawaii during World War II. So that's a great resource too. And then finally, for the teachers out there, educators out there, so this is for you. So we have our website includes a bunch of tools that are classroom ready. So these include not just what you've already heard about today, but also a quick start classroom guide and a complete set of customizable lesson plans that you can use over the course of a single class period or several weeks, depending on your needs. And also a recording of a webinar that we did last summer specifically for teachers and educators. So whether you'll be teaching in person in the future or remotely, we want to be sure that you have all the tools that you need to teach this period of history. And I think I just saw a question pop up, so we can pause for questions.
Yes. We have our question from Stephen. He wanted to know, how long do you estimate the activities will take?
Sure. When you say the activities, so let's go by if we go to the videos are about 5 to 10 minutes long each, and then so watching would take about 5 to 10 minutes for each video. There are 6 videos in total. The activities will really depend a bit on the age of the student who's participating. We recommend them for grades 3 and up. But I would say each activity is probably about 5 to 10 minutes as well. And then the discussion guides are really, as we said, they're quite customizable. And so they could take, I would say, if a student was sitting down and maybe doing some research as he or she looks at the questions and answering them, could take up to an hour if they're writing out their answers. But it could also just be a conversation that goes on for 10 or 15 minutes if you choose to do it as a discussion rather than as a worksheet. And as far as the Minecraft activities go, I would say that the suitcase activity usually goes by pretty quickly because, you know, kids are asked to choose 6 particular items, and so there is a limit on that. But the discussion that follows can be really significant, and so that could be, you know, a 10 to 15-minute discussion. Again, sort of depending on the ages of the students and how deep you want to go. Virtual Minecraft, though, or the virtual Manzanar camp could be a really significant time investment if a student is, you know, inclined to build in Minecraft and really do some research based on the resources that are provided on the website. So I would say that the sky's the limit as far as how much a student would want to dive into that particular Minecraft activity.
And that's also, just to add, that's also why we have different lesson plans. So we have lesson plans that that we suggest that can take only an hour or 2, and then we have lesson plans that can go a week or 2. So it really depends on how much time you have, because we know teachers have different amounts of limitations on time for different classes to teach the history. Yeah, so I think if there's no other questions, Charity, anything else?
It doesn't look like it, no.
Okay, so I think we'll go back and then we're gonna look at one more online game.
So we're getting ready to screen one more of our short films. This one is called Marie's Dolls. And just like all of the other films on the Building History website, it includes a downloadable discussion guide and also an interactive activity. This activity is called Concentration. It's a memory tile matching game. So when you watch Marie's Dolls, you'll find that there are some really striking images, and we wanted to highlight those in the film. So in this game, kids are challenged to uncover matching tiles in a collection of images. It's a common game that kids play all the time, but it gives them just one more way to relate to the film. So if you'd like to try out this matching game, we will put a link to this in the chat box. You can find it on our website as well. It's the Marie's Dolls Match Game. So I think we're ready to screen Marie's Dolls. So here again is Renee, who will introduce the film, which features her mom, Marie.
Hi, so this video was inspired by, you can't see me, when we were trying to find a set of very precious dolls that my mother had when she was a child. It was sent to her from a relative in Japan. And so after the video, remember that Mom, Marie will be here to answer your questions. And so just type it into the chat box. Okay, enjoy.
It's here.
It's here. Can't wait, can't wait. Wow, look at all this. Gotta be careful. It's like really delicate.
Well, I had a whole set of Japanese Girls' Day dolls. So Grandpa said the person he worked for had a niece in Virginia, in Richmond, Virginia. He said, well, it would be nice to send it to her because she was about the same age as I was. And so we packaged each of those and we shipped it to her. We continued our correspondence. I think it was a couple of years ago, I mentioned something about the dolls, and she said, oh, she still has them in a china cabinet.
Think Grandma's gonna be surprised?
Probably.
Wow, look at that.
They were very antique, and you can't get those dolls, you know, right now it's more modernized. But I'm glad that she still kept them.
These are so creepy.
Why do you think they're creepy?
This thing's eyes are following me right now.
How old was she when she went to camp? 1942? So she would have been about 1942. She would have been about 13. She's like a little bit younger than you are now.
And Mrs. Cumby had it for these 72 years. So I called her and I said, you know, it's my mother's 88th birthday.
Oh, you're here already.
How are you? Happy birthday.
Birthday card for you.
Oh, nice. Oh. Remember?
Oh, you get the Chef Boyardee hat.
I've known her over 80 years.
Since you were 7 years old.
We haven't greeted each other yet.
Oh, hi, Grandma.
So I think we're ready. And we really are so happy that you can make it here today for Mom's 88th birthday. And we have a very special gift for her today. We heard this story all our lives. Before the war, they had to leave so many of their belongings behind. There's one thing that my mother always talked about all our lives that she left behind.
What is it?
Oh, look, look.
Oh, oh my goodness, yeah.
Do you remember?
Well,
how many years since you've seen these dolls?
Well, I haven't seen it since camp.
73 years?
It's a 73, about 72 years.
And Mrs. Cumby, I can't tell you what she did to pack them. And she got it to FedEx. She must be close to Mom's age.
You mean these are my original?
Those are your dolls.
Oh, I can't believe it. It's my dolls. Oh, I can't believe it.
You want to show it to everybody?
Oh, those are the three ladies in waiting.
Mm-hmm.
The emperor, empress must be in the...
Okay. Hi, everybody. So this is Marie Ujie Tajima, and she's here to answer any questions you have. Again, she was in the camp. How old were you when you were in the camp?
Oh, must have been 14 and a half.
14 and a half. Here, I'll hold it up for you. Okay. Okay. Are there any questions?
Not yet.
This is your chance. A real incarceree. So can you tell me, you didn't go to Heart Mountain immediately, right? Where was the first place you went?
First place we went was Santa Anita racetrack. They converted that into a temporary assembly camp. And from there, I think after 2 months or so, they sent us to Heart Mountain, Wyoming.
We did get a question from Trish. She asks, did the dolls bring back any particular memories?
Well, the memories it brought back was how we brought out the dolls on Girls' Day, which is March 3 of every year. And it's remarkable how my friend Mary Lou kept those dolls.
For 70 years.
Yeah, for over 70 years.
Yeah. Where does Mary Lou live?
Mary Lou lives in Richmond, Virginia. And we still correspond with each other. I met her, well, at least about 2 or 3 times whenever we vacation on our summer vacation.
Yes, we have one from Jessica. How did you or did you celebrate Girls' Day in the camp?
Oh, we didn't celebrate at all.
Okay.
Girls' Day.
Why?
Well, there was nothing really to celebrate about. So we just took it as another day.
Did they let you celebrate Japanese cultural events?
Oh, I don't remember celebrating any cultural events. No, I just don't remember that. Probably we didn't.
Did you feel like it would not be welcome to celebrate anything that's Japanese?
Well, no, I don't know what it was, but we just took it as another day.
We have another question from Kaylee. She wanted to know, what did you do in the camps, Marie?
What did we do? Well, we try to pick up where we left off by going to school. They did have school. And in between, there really wasn't much to do. Of course, they organized groups of clubs, and they had dances, and I guess that's about all. I mean, there wasn't much activities.
We have
sports.
We have a couple more questions coming in from Trish. She wanted to know if you still kept in touch with people you met in the camps.
Well, at my age, there aren't, I hate to say this, but there aren't very many friends left. They've all passed away. And I'm about the only one who's surviving.
Okay.
93.
93. She's turned 93. So.
Wow. That's wonderful. So another question from Nadia. She wanted to know, did you feel any flashbacks regarding being discriminated against around the time of World War II during the Trump's presidency? And was his presidency frightening at all to you, or maybe not?
Well, I'm the type of person that doesn't really, I try to erase that from my mind, but I do think about it now and then. But it was not a very pleasant time to experience.
Yeah.
They're wondering under President Trump, did it remind you that maybe like the hatred, did it remind you of the camp time?
Well, I'm glad he was not around at that time, because it would have been very disastrous and sad,
Even
if
worse.
you had a leader who would go against that. Yeah.
have a couple more. So how many people were incarcerated?
Oh, I think there were 20,000.
No, 10,000
Oh, 10,000. I'm sorry.
in Heart Mountain.
Well, at my camp, there were 10,000, but total,
120,000.
yes,
yeah.
it was about 120,000 that were incarcerated.
Okay. And one more from Jen May. She says, the video made me tear up. Thank you for being here and for sharing your story with us. Marie, what do you hope for our youth today? Or what do you hope they take away from learning about this part of our history?
Well, that it should never happen ever again, because it's very sad, very hard on the Japanese Americans to be incarcerated like we were criminals. And actually, we were not, we were abiding citizens.
Those are all our questions, so we can proceed to the next.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next. Who's next?
Do we have any more questions concerning the project?
No other questions, just a lot of thank yous to Marie. So
Everybody saying thank
Well,
you.
well, thank you for interviewing me. Thank you.
Okay. We are putting our contact information up on the screen there. So from our website, you can join our mailing list. You can also feel free to email us if you have any lingering questions after today. That's our email address right there. And you can also follow us on social media. Those are our two handles that you see at the bottom of the screen there. All right, so I think we'll wrap up there. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Great. Mahalo to the Building History team for this amazing workshop, and to everyone for joining us today. So yeah, please check out more of the building history materials at buildinghistoryproject.com. And you can also find additional interactive and VR projects at HIFXR. So finally, for up-to-date information on additions to our program and the full schedule of films and events, visit www.hif.org. So mahalo once again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.